We can cut the light. Wow. Hi. This is a story by H.P. Lovecraft. He's buried in Swan Point Cemetery and died in 1937.
This is Frank, and I'm Russ. The story is called The Rats on the Walls. Just in case you didn't get Halloween out of your system. On July 16th, I moved into Exham Priory after the last workman had finished his labors. The restoration had been a stupendous task, for little had remained of the deserted pile but a shell-like ruin. Yet because it had been the seat of my ancestors, I let no expense deter me. The place had not been inhabited since the reign of James I, when a tragedy of intensely hideous, though largely unexplained nature had struck down the master, 5 of his children, and several servants, and driven forth under a cloud of suspicion and terror the 3rd son, my lineal progenitor. Shaken by some horror greater than that of conscience or the law, and expressing only a frantic wish to exclude the ancient edifice from his sight and memory, Walter de la Poer fled to Virginia, and there founded the family which by the next century had become known as de la Poer. Exham Priory had remained untenanted, though later much studied because of its peculiarly composite architecture involving Gothic towers resting on a Saxon or Romanesque substructure, whose foundation in turn was of a still earlier order, or blend of orders, Roman and even Druidic or native Sumeric, if legends speak truly. Architects and antiquarians loved to examine this strange relic, but the country folk hated it. Hundreds of years before, when my ancestors lived there, and they hated it now. I had not been a day in Manchester before I knew I came of an accursed house, and this week, workmen have blown up Exham Priory and are busy obliterating the traces of its foundations. My father died in 1904, but without any message to leave me, or my only child, Alfred, my motherless boy of 10. It was this boy who reversed the order of family information. He wrote me of some very interesting ancestral legends when the war took him to England as an aviation officer. Apparently the de la Poers had a colorful and perhaps sinister history, for a friend of my son's, Captain Edward Norris of the Royal Flying Corps, dwelt near Manchester and related some peasant superstitions. Norris himself, of course, did not take them so seriously. It was this legendary which definitely turned my attention to my transatlantic heritage and made me resolve to purchase and restore the family seat. I bought Exham Priory, but was almost immediately distracted from my plans of restoration by the return of my son as a maimed invalid. During the 2 years that he lived, I thought of nothing but his care. As I found myself bereaved and aimless, I resolved to divert my remaining years with the new possession. Visiting Manchester in December, I was entertained by Captain Norris, a plump, amiable young man, and secured his assistance in gathering plans and anecdotes to guide in the coming restoration. As I gradually recovered the image of the edifice as it had been when my ancestors left it, I began to hire workmen. In every case, I was forced to go outside the immediate locality, for the Manchester villagers had an almost unbelievable fear and hatred of the place. My son was somewhat avoided during his visits because he was a de la Poer, and now I found myself suddenly ostracized until I convinced the peasants how little I knew of my heritage. What the people could not forgive, perhaps, was that I had come to restore a symbol so abhorrent to them, for they viewed Exham Priory as nothing less than a haunt of fiends and werewolves. Piecing together the tales which Norris collected for me, I deduced that Exham Priory stood on the site of a prehistoric temple, a druidical or anti-druidical thing which must have been contemporary with Stonehenge, that indescribable rites had been celebrated there. Few doubted it. Inscriptions still visible on the subcellar bore such letters as D-I-V-O-P-S, Magna Mat. Signs of the Magna Mater, whose dark worship was once forbidden to Roman citizens. Anchester had been the camp of the 3rd Augustan Legion, and it was said that the Temple of Cybele was splendid and thronged with worshippers who performed nameless ceremonies. The fall of the old religion did not end the orgies, but the priests lived on in the new faith without real change. Likewise, the rites did not vanish with the Roman power. About 1000 AD, the place is mentioned as being a substantial stone priory, housing a strange and powerful monastic order and surrounded by extensive gardens which needed no walls to exclude a frightened populace. After the Norman conquest, it must have declined tremendously. Henry III granted the site to my ancestor Gilbert de la Poer in 1261. Of my family before this date, there is no evil report, but something strange must have happened then. The fireside tales were of the most grisly description. They represented my ancestors as a race of hereditary demons and hinted at their responsibility for the occasional disappearances of villagers. The worst characters apparently were the barons and their direct heirs. If of healthier inclinations, an heir would mysteriously die to make way for another more typical scion. There seemed to be an inner cult in the family, presided over by the head of the house and sometimes closed except to a few members. These myths and ballads repelled me greatly. Their persistence and their application to so long a line of my ancestors were especially annoying. I was much less disturbed by the tales of howlings in the barren valley beneath the limestone cliff, of the graveyard stenches after the spring rains, of the floundering, squealing white thing on which a horse had trod one night in the lonely field, and of the servant who had gone mad at what he saw in the priory in the full light of day. These things were hackneyed spectral lore, and I was at that time a pronounced skeptic. The accounts of vanished peasants were less to be dismissed, though not significant in the view of medieval custom. Prying curiosity meant death, and more than one severed head had been publicly shown on the bastions around Hexham Priory. A few of the tales were exceedingly picturesque, and most vivid of all, there was the dramatic epic of the rats, the scampering army of obscene vermin which had burst forth from the castle 3 months after the tragedy that doomed it to desertion, the lean, filthy, ravenous army which had swept all before it and devoured foul cats, dogs, hogs, sheep, and even 2 hapless human beings before its fury was spent. Such was the lore that assailed me as I pushed to completion the work of restoring my ancestral home. When the task was done, I viewed the great rooms, wainscoted walls, vaulted ceilings, mullioned windows, and broad staircases with a pride which fully compensated for the prodigious expense. Every attribute of the Middle Ages was reproduced, and the new parts blended perfectly with the original walls and foundations. The seat of my fathers was complete. I would reside here permanently and prove that a de la Peur need not be a fiend. As I have said, I moved in on July 16th. My household consisted of 7 servants and 9 cats. For 5 days, our routine proceeded with the utmost placidity, my time being spent mostly in the codification of old family data. It appeared that my ancestor was accused of having killed all of the other members of his household in their sleep, about 2 weeks after a shocking discovery which changed his whole demeanor. The deliberate slaughter was largely condoned by the villagers, and so slackly treated by the law that its perpetrator escaped, honored, unharmed, and undisguised to Virginia, the general whispered sentiment being that he had purged the land of immemorial curse. Had he then witnessed some appalling ancient rite, or stumbled upon some frightful and revealing symbol in the priory? On July 22nd occurred the first incident which takes on preternatural significance in relation to later events. What I afterward remembered is merely this, that my old black cat was undoubtedly alert and anxious. He roved from room to room and sniffed constantly about the walls which formed part of the Gothic structure. The following day, a servant complained of restlessness among all the cats in the house. He came to me in my study, and even as he spoke, I saw the jetty form of Felix creeping along the west wall and scratching at the new panels which overlaid the ancient stone. I told the men that there must be some singular odor or emanation from the old stonework. When the fellow suggested the presence of mice or rats, I mentioned that there had been no rats there for 300 years, and that even the field mice of the surrounding country could hardly be found in these high walls. That night, I retired in the west tower chamber, which I had chosen as my own. The room was circular, very high, and without wainscoting. Seeing that Felix was with me, I shut the heavy Gothic door and retired. I did not draw the curtains, but gazed out the narrow north window which I faced. There was a suspicion of aurora in the sky, and the delicate traceries of the window were pleasantly silhouetted. At some time I must have fallen quietly asleep, for I recall a distinct sense of leaving strange dreams. When the cat started violently, I saw him in the faint auroral glow, head strained forward, looking intensely at a point on the wall, which to my eye had nothing to mark it. And as I watched, I knew that Felix was not vainly excited. Whether the arras had actually moved, I cannot say. I think it did, very slightly. But behind it, I heard a low, distinct scurrying as of rats or mice. In a moment, the cat had jumped boldly on the screening tapestry, bringing the affected section to the floor with his weight and exposing a damp, ancient wall of stone, devoid of any trace of rodent prowlers. Felix raced up and down the floor by this part of the wall, clawing the fallen arras and seemingly trying at times to insert a paw between the wall and the open floor. He found nothing, and after a time returned wearily to his place across our feet. I did not sleep again that night. In the morning, I questioned all the servants. None of them had noticed anything unusual. I drowsed away the noontime, and in the afternoon called again on Captain Norris, who became exceedingly interested in what I told him. We were genuinely perplexed at the presence of rats, and Norris left me some traps, which I had the servants place in strategic localities. I retired early, but was harassed by dreams of the most horrible sort. I seemed to be looking down from an immense height upon a twilit grotto, knee-deep with filth, where a white-bearded demon swineherd drove about with his staff a flock of fungus, flabby beasts. Then, as the swineherd paused and nodded over his task, a mighty swarm of rats rained down on the stinking abyss and fell to devouring beasts and men. From this vision, I was abruptly awakened by the motions of Felix, who had been sleeping across my feet. This time, I did not have to question the source of his snarls and hisses, and of the fear which made him sink his claws into my ankle. For on every side of the chamber, the walls were alive with a nauseous sound, the verminous slithering of ravenous, gigantic rats. But I was not too frightened to switch on the light. As the bulbs lit, I saw a hideous shaking all over the tapestry, causing the somewhat peculiar design to execute a singular dance of death. This motion disappeared almost at once, and the sound with it. Springing out of bed, I poked at the arras and lifted one section to see what lay beneath. There was nothing but the patched stone wall. When I examined the circular trap that had been placed in the room, I found all of the openings sprung, though no trace remained of what had been caught and escaped. Further sleep was out of the question, so lighting a candle, I opened the door and went out to my study, Felix following at my heels. Before we reached the stone steps, however, my cat darted ahead of me and vanished down the ancient flight. As I descended the stairs myself, I became suddenly aware of sounds in the great room below. The oak-paneled walls were alive with rats, scampering and milling. Reaching the bottom, I switched on the light. The rats continued their riot. These creatures, in numbers apparently inexhaustible, were engaged in one stupendous migration from inconceivable heights to some depth, conceivably or inconceivably below. I now heard steps in the corridor, and in another moment, two servants pushed open the massive door. They were searching the house for some unknown source of disturbance which had thrown all the cats into a snarling panic and caused them to plunge down several flights of stairs and squat yowling before the closed door to the sub-cellar. I asked them if they had heard the rats, but they replied in the negative. Later I resolved to explore the crypt below, but for the present I merely made a round of the traps. All were sprung, yet all were tenantless. Satisfying myself that no one had heard the rats save the felines and me, I sat in my study till morning. I slept some in the forenoon. Later, I telephoned Captain Norris, who came over and helped me explore the subcellar. Absolutely nothing untoward was found, although we could not repress a thrill at the knowledge that this vault was built by Roman hands, every low arch and massive pillar. Indeed, the walls abounded with inscriptions, things like P. Jete, Prop Temp Donat, and El Preconvi Pontifi Attis. The reference to Attis made me shiver, for I knew something of the hideous rites of the Eastern god, whose worship was so mixed with that of Cybele. Norris and I, by the light of the lanterns, tried to interpret the odd and nearly effaced designs on certain irregularly rectangular blocks of stone, generally held to be altars, but could make nothing of them. On one of these blocks were some brown stains which made me wonder. The largest in the center of the room had certain features on the upper surface which indicated its connection with fire, probably burnt offerings. Such were the sights in the crypt before whose door the cats howled, and where Norris and I now determined to pass the night. Couches were brought down by the servants, who were told not to mind any nocturnal actions of the cats, and Felix was admitted as much for help as for companionship. We decided to keep the great oak door tightly closed, and with this all attended to, we retired with lanterns, still burning to await whatever might occur. The vault was very deep in the foundation of the priory, and undoubtedly far down on the face of the limestone cliff overlooking the waste valley. That it had been the goal of the scuffling and unexplainable rats I could not doubt, though why I could not tell. As we lay there expectantly, I found my vigil occasionally mixed with half-formed dreams. These dreams were not wholesome, but horribly like the one I had had the night before. I saw again the twilight grotto and the swineherd with his unmentionable fungus beasts. And as I looked at these things, they seemed nearer and more distinct, so distinct that I could almost observe their features. Then I did observe the flabby features of one of them, and awakened with such a scream that Felix started up, whilst Captain Norris laughed considerably. Norris waked me again when the phenomenon began. Beyond the closed door at the head of the stone steps was a veritable nightmare of feline yelling and clawing, whilst Felix was running excitedly around the bare stone walls, in which I had heard the same babble of scurrying rats that had troubled me the night before. An acute terror now rose within me, for here were anomalies which nothing normal could well explain. These rats, if not the creatures of a madness which I shared with the cats alone, must be burrowing and sliding in Roman walls which I thought to be solid limestone blocks. But even so, the spectral horror was no less, for if these were living vermin, why did not Norris hear their disgusting commotion? By the time I had managed to tell him what I thought I was hearing, my ears gave me the last impression of the scurrying, which had retreated, still downward, far underneath this deepest of subcellars, till it seemed as if the whole cliff below were riddled with questing rats. Norris was not as skeptical as I had anticipated, but instead seemed profoundly moved. He motioned to me to notice that the cats at the door had ceased their clamor, as if giving up the rats for lost, while Felix had a burst of renewed restlessness, and was clawing frantically around the bottom of the large stone altar in the center of the room. We could, for the moment, do nothing, but watch the old black cat as he pawed at the base of the altar. Norris now took a lantern close to the altar and examined the place where Felix was pawing, scraping away the lichens of the centuries which joined the massive pre-Roman block to the floor. He did not find anything, and was about to abandon his efforts when I noticed a trivial circumstance which made me shudder. The flame of the lantern was slightly flickering from a draft of air which it had not before received, and which came from the crevice between floor and altar. We spent the rest of the night in the brilliantly lit study, nervously discussing what we should do next. The discovery that some vault deep in the deepest known masonry of the Romans underlay this accursed pile would have been sufficient to excite us without any background of the sinister. As it was, the fascination became twofold, and we paused in doubt whether to abandon our search and quit the priory forever in superstitious caution, or to gratify our sense of adventure and brave whatever horrors might await us in the unknown depths. By morning, we had compromised and decided to go to London to gather a group of archaeologists and scientific men. In London, we presented our facts, conjectures, and legendary anecdotes to 5 eminent authorities. We found most of them little disposed to scoff, but instead intensely interested. As we all booked the train for Manchester, I felt myself poised on the brink of frightful revelations. On the evening of August 7th, we reached Exham Priory, where the servants assured me that nothing unusual had occurred. We were to begin exploring the following day. I myself retired to my own tower chamber with Felix across my feet. Sleep came quickly, but hideous dreams assailed me. There was a vision of a Roman feast with a horror in a covered platter. Then came that damnable recurrent thing about the swineherd in the twilight grotto. Yet when I awoke, it was full daylight with normal sounds in the house below. The rats, living or spectral, had not troubled me. On going down, I found the same tranquility had prevailed elsewhere. All was now ready, and at 11 a.m. our entire group of 7 men bearing powerful searchlights and implements of excavation went down to the subcellar and bolted the door behind us. Felix was with us, for the investigators were indeed anxious that he be present in case of obscure rodent manifestations. We noted the Roman inscriptions and unknown altar designs only briefly. Prime attention was paid to the momentous central altar, and within an hour Sir William Griffin had caused it to tilt backward, balanced on some unknown species of counterweight. There now revealed such a horror as would have overwhelmed us had we not been prepared. Through a nearly square opening in the tiled floor, sprawling on a flight of stone steps so worn that it was little more than an inclined plane at the center, was a ghastly array of human or semi-human bones. Those which retained their collocation as skeletons showed attitudes of panic fear, and all over were the marks of rodent gnawing. The skulls denoted nothing short of utter idiocy, cretinism, or primitive semi-apedom. Above the steps arched a descending passage, seemingly chiseled from the solid rock and conducting a current of air. This current was not a sudden and noxious rush, as from a closed vault, but a cool breeze with something of freshness in it. We did not pause long, but shiveringly began to clear a passage down the steps. It was then that Sir William, examining the hewn walls, made the odd observation that the passage, according to the direction of the strokes, must have been chiseled from beneath. I must be very deliberate now, and choose my words. After plowing down a few steps amidst the gnawed bones, we saw that there was light ahead. Not any mystic phosphorescence, but a filtered daylight, which could not come except from unknown fissures in the cliff above. A few steps more, and our breaths were literally snatched from us by what we saw. Norris, his plump face, utterly white and flattened, simply cried out inarticulately. The man behind me, the only one of the party older than I, croaked, "My God." It was a twilight grotto of enormous height, stretching away farther than any eye could see. A subterraneous world of limitless mystery and horrible suggestion. There were buildings and other architectural remains. In one terrified glance, I saw a weird pattern of tumuli, a savage circle of monoliths, a low-domed Roman ruin, a sprawling Saxon pile, and an early English edifice of wood. But all these were dwarfed by the ghoulish spectacle presented by the general surface of the ground. For yards about the steps extended an insane tangle of human bones, or bones at least as human as those on the steps. Like a foamy sea they stretched, some fallen apart, others wholly or partly articulated as skeletons, in postures of demonic frenzy, either fighting off some menace, or clutching other forms with cannibal intent. When Dr. Trask, the anthropologist, stopped to classify the skulls, he found a degraded mixture which utterly baffled him. They were mostly lower than the Piltdown man in scale of evolution, but in every case definitely human. Many were of higher grade, and a very few were the skulls of supremely and sensitively developed types. All the bone was gnawed, mostly by rats, but somewhat by others of the half-human drove. Mixed with them were many tiny bones of rats. I wondered that any man among us lived and kept his sanity through that hideous day of discovery, each stumbling on revelation after revelation and trying to keep from thinking of the events which must have taken place there 300 or 1,000 or 10,000 years ago. It was the antechamber of hell, and poor Thornton fainted when Trask told him that some of the skeleton things must have descended as quadrupeds through the last 20 generations. Horror piled on horror as we began to interpret the architectural remains. The quadruped things, with their occasional recruits from the biped class, had been kept in stone pens, out of which they must have broken in their last delirium of hunger or rat fear. There had been great herds of them, evidently fattened on the coarse vegetables whose remains could be found at the bottom of huge stone bins older than Rome. I knew now why my ancestors had such excessive gardens. Would to heaven I could forget. The purpose of the herds I did not have to ask. Sir William, standing with his searchlight in the Roman ruins, translated aloud the most shocking ritual that I have ever known, and told of the diet of the antediluvian cult, which the priests of Cybele found and mingled with their own. Norris, used as he was to the trenches, could not walk straight when he came out of the English building. It was a butcher's shop and kitchen. He had expected that, but it was too much to see familiar English implements in such a place, and to read familiar English graffiti there. I could not go in that building. What I did venture to enter was the low Saxon building, and there I found a terrible row of 10 stone cells with rusty bars. 3 had tenants, all skeletons of high grade, and on the bony forefinger of one I found a seal ring with my own coat of arms. Meanwhile, Dr. Trask had opened one of the prehistoric tumuli and brought to light skulls which were slightly more human than a gorilla's, and which bore indescribably ideographic carvings. Having grasped to some slight degree the frightful revelations of this twilight area, we turned to that apparently boundless depth of midnight cavern where no ray of light from the cliff could penetrate. We shall never know what sightless Stygian worlds yawned behind that little distance we went, for it was decided that such secrets are not good for mankind. We had not gone far before the searchlight showed that is an accursed affinity of pits in which the rats had feasted, and whose sudden lack of replenishment had driven the ravenous rodent army first to turn on the living herds of starving things, and then to burst forth from the priory in that orgy of devastation which the peasants will never forget. God, those carrion black pits of sod-picked bones and open skulls, those nightmare chasms choked with anthropoid, Celtic, Roman, and English bones of countless unhallowed centuries. Some of them were full, and none can say how deep they had once been. Others were still bottomless to our searchlights. What I thought of the hapless rats that stumbled into such traps amidst the blackness. Once my foot slipped near a yawning brink, and I had a moment of ecstatic fear. I must have been musing a long time, for I could not see any of the party but the plump Captain Norris. Then there came a sound from an inky, boundless farther distance that I thought I knew, and I saw my old black cat dart past me straight into the illimitable gulf of the unknown. But I was not far behind, for there was no doubt after another second it was the eldritch scurrying of those fiend-born rats, always questing for new horrors, and determined to lead me on even unto the grinning caverns of Earth's center, where the mad, faceless god howls blindly in the darkness to the piping of 2 amorphous idiot flute players. My searchlight expired, but still I ran. I heard voices and yowls and echoes, and above me all gently rose that impious, insidious scurrying, gently rising as a stiff, bloated corpse gently rises above an oily river that flows on the endless onyx bridges to a black, putrid sea. Something bumped into me, something soft and plump. It must have been the rats, the viscous, gelatinous, ravenous army that feast on the dead and the living. Why shouldn't rats eat a de la poor as a de la poor eats forbidden things? Warwick, my boy, damn them all. No, I tell you, I am not that demon swineherd in the Twilight Grotto. It was not Edward Norris's fat face on that flabby, fungus thing. Who says I am a de la poor? He lived, but my boy died. It's voodoo, I tell you, the spotted snake. Curse you, Thornton, I'll teach you to faint it, what my family do. Splat us, think you're gonna learn how to gust up this thing, which I think that thing might do good, but there are This is what they say. I said when they found me in the blackness after 3 hours, found me crouching over the plump, half-eaten body of Captain Norris, with my own cat leaping and tearing at my throat. Now they have blown up Exum Priory, taken my Felix away from me, and shut me into this barred room. Thornton is in the next room, but they prevent me from talking to him. They're trying to suppress most of the facts concerning the Priory. When I speak of poor Norris, they accuse me of a hideous thing. But they must know that I didn't do it. They must know it was the rats. The scurrying rats whose scampering will never let me sleep. The two demon rats that race behind the padding in this room, beckoning me down to greater horrors than I have ever known. The rats they can never hear. The rats in the walls.
Thank you very much. Remember, Buy American.
Please rise for Her Serene Highness, Princess Pearl of Providence.
Greetings, everyone. I'm your mistress of ceremonies for this evening. And I think I'll start right off by telling you that that last act that we saw was Russell Kellogg and Frank Difficult reading a story from H.P. Lovecraft. And it was very wonderful. Thank you very much. You might want to look into some clip notes. Yeah, they're very clear and concise. Okay. They said, Pearl, you should host us, and I thought that maybe one of the only things that I really could do besides singing and dancing and modeling was that I accessorize well. But I thought that there might be something fun that we could all do. You know what, I need full house lights, for one thing. Great. Have you ever heard of a game called Simon Says? Yeah. Well, we're going to play a game called Princess Says. So, firstly, Princess says, all of you stand. Okay. At this time, I would like to call your attention to our referees. On my right, I have Wicked Wanda 1. On my left, I have Terrible Tina 2. We'll take a moment to go over our signals. Wanda, if I do this, it means take them outside and beat the hell out of them. Will you repeat that signal for me? Terrific. Wanda.
Yes.
Glad to know that you're paying attention. Tina! Signal me, please. Okay. We'll start with you, Tina. If I do this, it means take them downstairs until after the show for my personal pleasure. Repeat that signal for me. Wicked Wanda. Terrific. If I do this, Terrible Tina, it means charge that person who screwed up miserably $1. May I have the signal? Wicked Wanda. We're all gonna have a good time. Okay. All right, let's commence with the playing. Princess says, put your hands on your shoulders. Princess says, put your hands on your waist. Princess says, put your hands on your knee. Put your hands on your ankles. Princess says, say hello. Hello. Say goodbye. Goodbye. Oh! Not too many. We seem to have a little bit of a selective process going on, right? Some of these people that are getting out are out of the building, never to return. The ones that are left will repopulate the earth. Okay. Princess says, smoke it like this. Princess says, take a drink of booze. Princess says, stay put while she gets her index cards. Okay. Princess says, hop on your right foot. Stop. Princess says, touch your knees. Touch your waist. Got ya. Well, don't beg for mercy. You'll get none from us.
What's the signal? What does he do with it? Your Highness.
What does he do with
He's waiting for her royal signal.
Reminds me of my royal signal.
We take him outside and beat her. We take him down to your dressing room for you to use for your royal pleasures.
I can really
We humiliate them.
Oh my God! All right, wait. All right. Let's try a humiliation one. All right.
Pay $1.
All right. You guys are getting pretty clever, aren't you? Princess Pearl says, walk like an Egyptian. Princess Pearl
stand still. Princess says, pretend you're coming in here. Stop coming in here. Princess says, stop coming in here. Princess says, pretend you're brushing your teeth. Did you know that most of us should be brushing for at least 5 minutes, but that we usually are doing it on our way out the door? We take about 13 seconds.
If we're lucky.
Stop brushing your teeth. Princess says, stop brushing your teeth. Princess says, put your hands on your shoulders. Princess says, put your hands over your ears. Princess says, put your hands on your hips.
What?
Aha! Some of you put your hands on your hips, but if you had your hands over your ears, you shouldn't have been able to hear me. So I'm going to go with that signal. What was it? For humiliation. What was it? Get these people in the front. All of them! Punch all of them! All of them! Go down here. All right. I didn't know how to end this fun game because the audience is so good at it. What I could do is introduce the next act for you. So Princess says, sit down. Our next enjoyable act for this evening is Bert and Tom.
We're all set here. Well, we're not going to have any preamble tonight. We're going to do 4 things, right, Bert? We're going to do 4 things.
But this is Tom Hurl, anyway.
Correct. We're going to do 4 things tonight. First thing we're going to do, we're going to do a musical piece to stretch ourselves artistically.
Because we're not really musicians.
And so we thought that we'd do something common. Plus, also, we want to loosen up, get flexible, work up a little sweat, so we thought we'd start off with something hard. So that's going to be the first thing. Next thing we're going to do is an OJ bathroom thing, right?
It's not going to be long, though.
No, it's a real short OJ in the bathroom thing because you got to have OJ all the time. The second thing we're going to do is the intellectual piece, right?
The what piece?
Got the intellectual skit.
Did we rehearse that now?
Yeah, that's why we got the door.
Oh.
So we got a prop. So we got the door, the prop. Here's the prop, the intellectual piece. Third thing then, go pie in the face. So, it all set, right?
Stop. What's first?
Right now
What's
we
that?
What's number 4?
Did you say 4?
I said 4. No, the music, toilet, intellectual, pie.
Music is first.
Music is first.
This is more or less an original composition by Tom Hurl. And this is very difficult for us. It's a difficult piece. Huh?
Should we play a note that's the same?
No, it doesn't matter. If there seems to be some dissonance, it's intentional.
It's artistic dissonance.
How's it going?
Okay, ready?
The thing is, it's difficult for us, and we may not get it the first time.
But it's a short thing, so
But
we're going
it's
to do it
short,
a
so it's not
lot.
going to be a long time.
We're going to do it a lot.
Because it's been a long time.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to count it?
No.
Huh.
Just kind of like,
Okay, all right.
kind of
I remember.
like we rehearsed it.
I remember the beginning of my part.
Okay.
Okay. Wait a minute, fucked up. Okay. Okay, I'm ready now. Before I forget, Tom. Okay, try again. Please, I'm sorry. I may never get it. No, this is a musical piece. This is very difficult for me. I get very nervous when we'll try it one more time. I don't think we're going to get it. I want to try.
We're going to do one.
A little soul.
All right, soul this time now. Okay, that's going to be, I'm feeling pretty loose.
You want to do it again?
Yeah, I think it'll,
How about you? Is this making you sweat?
I can see why kids in the late think because that's hard.
Really? All right, try again.
Okay, this time.
This is it.
No, okay, but we're going to do it.
Don't forget it. We don't.
We're going to do it twice, though.
Fuck that.
No, that's good. Let's do it twice. Let's try it twice.
All right. I keep fucking, but that's good enough.
How about that, OJ?
Yeah, how about that? How about that Aunt Jemima? Aunt Jemima.
How about that, Nicole?
Oh, yeah. How about Edo?
How about that, Shapiro?
Terrible. How about that Frankenstein?
Hey, how about that, Shapiro?
Oh, that pay baby.
How about that English?
That's really something. How about the hat? Did you say you get the
Hey, how about the Knicks?
Oh, the Nick. How about that lovely lady?
Hey,
What lovely lady's that there, Tom?
how about Edo?
Oh, Edo.
Edo!
Steven Senegal?
Hey! How about Buddy? How about that Buddy?
How about that buddy, Tom? Oh.
Hey, flush the toilet.
in?
Not here. Lunch. Lunch. You had lunch? He's had lunch. He's having lunch. He's had lunch. See Pud at the diner. Why don't you go down to the diner, see Pud, come back some other time.
How you doing? Cocktail?
Nah, not today.
Hors d'oeuvre?
Nope.
Fettuccine mushrooms? Ordered from Italy.
Thanks, that sounds good. Sounds like No, I tell you what. I was walking down the street and I was attacked by the old sweet tooth. Just boom. You know what I had in mind for?
Veal masala.
What I had in mind was
A pie?
a pie.
No cocktails, no hors d'oeuvres, no appetizers, no entree, just a pie.
I've had coffee this morning. I'll drink tonight. I just want a.
Well, what about your friend here? How about you? Would you like a cocktail? Or...
Yeah, he just wants a piece of pie.
So 2 pieces of pie. We got blueberry, apple,
Ah!
lemon meringue.
Ooh.
Yeah,
What that is for rain.
one lemon meringue.
That's it.
2 pieces
I
of
want
lemon
that
meringue.
whole 2 plates.
Coffee, soda.
1 whole pie and 2 plates.
You want a whole pie.
A whole pie and 2 plates.
You want a whole lemon meringue pie, coffee, soda,
That's it.
coffee,
No,
soda.
no. We just want the pie. That's it, right?
Okay.
Great
Lemon meringue pie.
Great. Yeah, I had an old sweet tooth, man. It just kind of boom.
Lemon meringue pie.
Look at that. That'll do. That's wonderful. That's it.
No coffee.
Nah, we don't want any. Nah, we just.
A little unorthodox.
That's
it. Great.
Wait.
How come I knew this was coming?
Hey, I think there's a hair in this pot.
A what?
A hair.
I don't think so.
Look at that.
Not
Look at that. That's about a million long blonde hair in that pie.
blonde maybe.
Now you gotta.
So what should I do?
Yeah, I can't.
You don't want
You
this
can't
pie.
eat that pie.
So that's
can't
it.
eat that.
No coffee, no soda, no hors d'oeuvres, no entree, no appetizer,
You
no
can't eat that
pie.
pie, but I'd like another pie. You got another one?
A lemon meringue?
Yeah.
Another lemon
Just like
meringue
that
pie?
one. Just the hair.
No problem, we can do it. No sweat. We ain't complete, that's why we're here. Lemon meringue pie.
Oh, yes, I knew
That's
you guys.
it?
I just felt you guys. Wait. I think there's a fly died in this pie. Look at that.
Fly died in the pie.
That's a fly. Yeah, he came in, he landed. Look at, he's buried right under that little mound of green there. See, he got baked in there. See, I can see his
Fly in
legs
the
sticking
pie.
out. Yeah, I can't eat that.
Can't eat this pie. Does that mean you want another pie?
No, we just hope you got one.
Another lemon meringue? How did I know? Okay, no problem.
This place is good. I knew this place. Oh, that sweet tooth is. Oh.
Is that beautiful?
Oh, that one looks flawless.
Enjoy.
That's,
Please.
I mean, that's just like
Enjoy.
incredible.
Enjoy.
Wait. Wait a minute.
Yep.
Don't go yet.
Something in that pie, right?
No. I just think is that a thumbprint?
Where's that though?
Right. Is that a thumbprint on here?
Right here?
Yeah, somebody touched that.
I wonder if there ain't something we can do with this pie.
white spill over here is really very innocent. It's lemon meringue pie. I'm going to introduce this next act. It's Richard Griffin, mixed media. And when I come back, just like Judy from Time Life Books, I'm going to tell you about a very interesting compliment that I received lately.
Okay, roll it, Jit.
Step 1. We had admitted that we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable.
One night I was sitting in a local bar having a quick drink before heading home. It was the type of gay bar that would make Harvey Firestein homophobic. When a good-looking young man sat down next to me, we exchanged small talk for a couple of minutes before he blurted out,
My father used to beat me when I was a child.
Who cares to admit complete defeat? Admission of powerlessness is the first step in liberation.
I mean, what do you say to something like that? Well, I guess you could be caring and say,
Gee, that's terrible. Tell me all about it.
but you know you're going to be stuck there listening to this idiot ramble on for the next 5 hours, telling us about his terrible home life.
Step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
Or you could look at your watch and go,
Man, it's late, I gotta go.
and fly on the Corso Flash to leave vapor trails.
Plight of the disillusioned. Roadblocks of indifference and prejudice. Negative and positive thinking. Step 2 is a rallying point to sanity. Right relation to God.
But all you really want to say is, oh, your father beat you when you were a child. Good. I've only known you for 5 minutes and I want to beat the shit out of you.
Step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of a God as we understand it.
Sitting in a cafe, I overheard a woman talking about picketing a local bar.
Step 3 is like opening a locked door. How shall we let God into our lives? Dependence as a means to independence. Dangers of self-sufficiency.
She said that when the boss fired him, she said when the boss fired an employee, and when he did, he called the employee a faggot.
Step 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves.
I asked her if she had any proof this happened, and when she did, she shouted,
And I'm fighting for your rights. And this is the thanks I get?
Misguided moral inventory can result in guilt, grandiosity, or blaming others.
I couldn't remember asking help from this woman to fight for me. Maybe I was confused, and I told her this.
Step 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs.
She said that the employee's inner child had been damaged forever. I asked her if an inner child was something like retardation.
12 steps to Plato. Without fearless admission of defects, few could stay sober.
This comment angered her somewhat. Then I told her someone should really open the first inner child abortion clinic.
Step 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character.
I was visiting a friend in San Francisco. She had a Korean-American roommate. Her name was Eun Young.
Being ready is all important. Necessity of taking action. Delay is dangerous. Rebellion may be fatal. Step 6 is the point at which we abandon limited objectives
to see the movie Falling Down. In one scene, Michael Douglas destroys a Korean grocery store with a baseball bat. I looked over and saw that Woon Young was on the verge of tears.
Step 7. Humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings.
When the movie was over, we talked about why the scene affected her so much. I tried to defend the movie, and she said,
Of course you would defend it. Your people persecuted all minorities. You made slaves of Afro-Americans.
What is humility? What can it mean to us? Value of ego puncturing. Failure and misery transformed by humility. Strength from weakness.
I told her that my parents and their parents' parents grew up in complete poverty in Fall River, and there wasn't a slave in sight. She called me insensitive and never talked to me after that. In a way, I was glad. She seemed like the type of person who truly believed that Kurt Cobain died for her sins.
Step 8. Made a list of all the persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all.
MTV is running ads now called Stop the Violence. The slogan is, hate, it's not human.
Learning to live with others is a fascinating adventure. Step 8 is the beginning of the end of isolation.
Well, if you believe that, you should also believe that love, pain, sorrow, fear...
Step 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others.
Lust, guilt, and anger aren't human either.
A tranquil mind is the first requisite for good judgment.
We have drugs that can block out all the ugly emotions and feelings.
Step 10. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it.
Maybe we should all have lobotomies to cut out the parts of our brains that have these feelings.
Can't hack it in today's world? Don't worry, we'll hack it for you at Vinny's drive-thru. How's a lobotomy?
Then we can walk around smiling like a bunch of Mormon zombies.
Self-searching becomes a regular habit.
Yes, especially with those who never know when to stop searching. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to tell my problems to people who give a shit, like my friends and family.
Step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that will out.
Listening to the poetry slam at AS220, I can only think, for a bunch of rich kids who never wondered where their next meal was coming from.
Meditation and prayer, main channels to higher power, actual results of prayer are beyond question. Rewards of meditation and prayer.
Who never wanted for anything in their lives, whose biggest problem in life is that the gap closes too early. They sure have a lot of problems.
Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message.
The world is not your 12-step program. Thank you.
Hello. Hello again. Back just like Judy from Time Life Books. Thank you to the Griffin Enterprise. That was fabulous. I heard a lot of laughing. Everything was okay. I got a very unusual compliment the other night. This girl came up to me. I was dressed to the nines. I went to the artist ball at Rhode Island School of Design. I was out Rose on the Patuxent. And I had a nice outfit. But this girl said, "Fuck you. You look better than I do, you asshole." I was like, thanks. It's a true story.
Well, tell another story. We were singing last night. What'd you do? Go ahead. It's another act. Yeah.
Just 50.
the wrong hero. Alcoholic, drug addict, but apparently not the only one. And an easy guy to shop for around Christmas time. Ho, ho, ho! A pound of heroin and a quart of vodka? All right, Jim! And even though it isn't Christmas yet, I would like to do my Christmas medley, accompanied by a kitten which I have secreted in my trousers. Some of you might recognize me. I invented a car that runs on blood sugar. Of course, you might not recognize me. I lost 200 pounds on the drive from Albany. Good thing I picked up that hitchhiker. By the way, this presentation of The Wrong Hero is brought to you by the placebo family of medications. Placebo Ultra Mild, Placebo Light, Placebo Regular, Placebo Red, Placebo 100s, Placebo Wides, and Extra Strength Placebo. Twice as many inert ingredients as regular placebos. Did I hear somebody say weirdo?
Weirdo.
Okay, thanks. Talking to yourself. Ooh. Well, election day draws near, and I'd like you to remember that politics is sports for people who are too fat to run. Are there any liberals here?
Yes.
Well, when I speak to liberals, I'm not the wrong hero. I'm the hero whose behavior is inappropriate. I don't really want to meet President Clinton. I just want him to hug me. Do you have that feeling sometimes? I went to Mount Washington, and John Adams had me arrested for sedition. Some people say that puns are the lowest form of humor. They're wrong. I am the lowest form of humor because I am the wrong hero. I didn't have a good Halloween. Nobody liked my costume. It was the refutation of Aristotelian logic. That wowed them. My highest aspiration in life is not to serve as a mere clown whose sole purpose is to tickle the sores of a fickle mob. No. I aspirations. I'm reaching higher, higher, ever higher towards my goal, my highest aspiration, to leave little cappuccino farts on David Letterman's sofa. Anything you can do which would help me towards this goal would be greatly appreciated. Now there's this preacher down south, and he carries signs which say, God hates homosexuals. But what he doesn't tell you is that Jesus thinks some of them are kind of cute. All these preachers, always on television, always asking you for money for God. Why don't we have Satanists on television asking for money to fight God? Now, I want you to bring Satan, Lucifer, Lucifer, into your heart. Oh, great Lord, oh, horn, one, oh, beast, oh, devil, you are divine. Now I want you to give money for Satan, money to fight God. We will fight him in the streets, we will fight him in the air, we will fight him in the alleyways, we will fight him in the churches. Lucifer, 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 I'm in love with you. What's new, Lucifer? Now here's something else I've discovered. When you get to be a certain age, when people call you sir, what they're really saying is fatso. Can I see your license and registration? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. With that in mind, perhaps we should make the song. Oh God, they're after. Perhaps the song should be To Fatso with Love. Just a thought. I go to job interviews, and you know, I can answer all the simple softball questions like, what is your name? You lie! But the one that always gets me is, whoops, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do I see myself in 5 years? Probably being chased by that there ambulance. Where do I see myself in 5 years? That's a very interesting question. I'd like a moment to think about it. I tell you where I see myself in 5 years. I see me in a stretch limo, chauffeured by Al Cowlings, drinking Courvoisier from a paper cup, a foxy whore on either arm, my fists dripping with fuck you money, and you standing on a corner, giggling furtively, selling watchtowers, drinking Old Spice from a paper bag, shaking your fist at me and screaming, you fucking monkey, as I leave you in a cloud of my dust.
Yeah, look at it.
And they say to me, we weren't considering you for an entry-level position, but we think you have what it takes to be middle management. When I get stopped by a policeman, I like to play a little game with them called Nice Victim, Mean Victim. Can I see your license and registration? Yes, sir. Top of the morning to you, officer. Sure, and what's a police captain doing pounding the beat? You were speeding. Well, I'll tell you why I was speeding. I was pretending the accelerator was a policeman's head because I was sucking on a cube of LSD and I wanted to get home before I melted. Officer, coffee and donuts sitting and picking your ass up on the guns at 4 in the morning. Yeah, sir. And he says, okay, we'll let it go this time. See it doesn't happen again. And now for the remainder of my show, I'd like to talk about My New Wardrobe and How I Lost 100 Pounds. Forgive me, I thought I was Oprah Winfrey for a minute there. I didn't have anything better to do, so I was watching the Montel Williams show. And I have a great deal of respect for Montel Williams, because basically what he presides over is a grand spectacle of victimology. And your typical show involves three people who know each other so well that they never want to see each other again. And it's something like, "You told my daughter you were going to marry her 2 years ago." "Yeah, that's right, you said you were going to marry me 2 years ago. What is it anyway? Then you take my nephew out there and you told him to smoke crack and drink beer. What's the matter with you anyway? Yeah, what's the matter with you anyway?" Well, the man who was being treated in this fashion, to drown out the voices of his putative bride and mother-in-law, went, "Oh, oh." And it occurred to me that might be a pretty good response for just about anything. "You're fired." "Oh." "License and registration, please." "Oh." "Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?" "Oh." Well, thank you very much for being here for me. You know, if I have any regrets at all, they are described very briefly. Getting in that pissing contest with a racehorse. Engaging the sun in a staring contest was not such a hot idea. Having the Grim Reaper tattooed on my forehead seemed like a good idea at the time. Hence the mask. Now, when I'm really good, I guess I am the foremost satirist of my generation, and when I kind of, then I guess I'm a performance artist. Either way, I win. Now, if you have any comments about my show, please write them on a $20 bill and see me afterwards. Thank you very much. I'm the Wrong Hero.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wrong Hero. Thank you very much. Now is the time that I think you should take out your pamphlets. We're going to see a little play. It's called Radio Days. See, Dubois right here. And I noticed that on the back it says Café Sud, as in cinnamon. It means alone.
I missed this issue for some reason. Will you look at that? How in God's name am I supposed to read that? With binoculars? Oh, just happen to have the Hubble telescope right here in my pocket. Get it together, you're thwarting me! It's easy to read a license plate in your car. Survive. I still can't believe you. Survive? You sound like a Darwinian missionary. Oh. On the way over, I got the tickets for tomorrow night's flights.
I thought you went inside to use the bathroom.
On the way back, this piece of pie just screamed at me.
How much was it?
$2.50.
So you had more than enough money.
Yeah.
What was it, the last piece or something?
Would you like a bite?
No.
Finish this up?
I love that.
Or would you like me to go get your piece?
No, it's too late.
Too late?
Well, you didn't consider me before, so forget it.
Night. tongue is pulsating with pleasure. And it's all mine.
You're just like the rest of us.
What the hell are you talking about?
People don't give a shit about other people anymore.
It was just a piece of pie.
It wasn't just a piece of pie.
It was a goddamn piece of pie.
It was irreverence, selfishness, and ignorance.
You awesome.
No, I found it. I found that glorious freeing truth that nobody gives two bats asses about anyone else anymore. I can now roam freely through the world, absolutely certain that people are going to be screwing me until the day I die.
2 rat's asses.
What?
2 rat's asses, not bat's asses.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to have a decent discussion here, and you keep destroying it with your comments.
Look, I figured we'd come here to have a nice, relaxing time, and you become Miss Manners on Prozac. You know better than me or anyone else.
Hey, I don't kill people, I don't rape women, I don't steal their radios, I don't light fires.
Wait. Why did you say steal their radios?
You see the point I'm making?
Is your radio stolen?
That's neither here nor there, but I'm...
Aha! That's what this is all about. Your little baby was ripped off.
It's no big deal.
No big deal?
It's not the radio, it's the inconvenience.
Oh, come on.
It's just the radio.
Just a radio.
Just the radio.
We're talking about the same radio now, right?
You're not listening to me.
I remember when you first got that thing. You said you had a big surprise in your car. I get in, it's a CB.
Ham radio.
You know what I'm talking about.
Listen, we don't need a license to operate a CB. I mean, a big disaster happens, and your citizens band is going to help you survive. A ham radio can reach all over the world. Ships offshore, Europe. I bet secret frequencies that police use for drug raids. Let's see if puny little CB do that, huh? It's a ham radio. A ham radio.
Whatever, it went up my ass the same distance. It was my birthday, for Christ's sake. I figured the surprise was for me. But nope, got to go on this endless drive around town listening to every state, every country. Oh, you should hear this guy. He's clear as a bell and he's 2,000 miles away. Oh, yeah. And that guy from Paris? You were both incredibly rude. You knew I didn't speak a word of French. You were just mad because I wasn't excited about your brand new power tool. The only good thing was you stopped whining about how lonely you were. God, I hated when you used to do that. What was up? Thin air? That radio was everything to you and you know it.
It was not.
Are you kidding? You had your dashboard gutted so you could fit the damn thing in there. Normal people don't sacrifice their heaters for a ham radio. And that antenna looked like the Eiffel Tower.
Can we change the subject, please?
Nope, not until you admit it.
Admit what?
That you loved your radio.
I'm not going to admit that I love the radio.
Say it.
No.
Say it.
No!
I think I'll give this extra ticket to my other friend. He really loves the theater.
You have another friend?
That is not a radio wave either. You can touch him, and I think he's available.
You never told me you had another friend.
This guy has a shrine to Broadway in his bedroom. I've never seen such huge posters.
Stop it.
There's a mirror of the original production of a chorus line hanging right over his bed.
Come on, stop
It
it.
covers almost the whole ceiling, but when you lay down and look up, it's just like looking down. It's an incredible illusion.
There's a big gaping hole in my dashboard, all right? They just went in and they ripped my heart out. The wires were just dangling. The only thing left was a piece of one of the dials, like a little black zero. I mean, you work hard for something and they just take it. And what kind of people do things like that, huh? I mean, they had no idea how immense my world was inside that car. I knew people in Siberia, Antarctica, New York City. I witnessed the best accidents and drug raids because I had the power to get there first. I got the real news from real people, not some stiff on a picture tube or an AM radio. I was connected big time. And they just ripped the soul from my body and bought drugs with it. Yeah, I loved that radio. I loved it. And you didn't give me any apple pie. Satisfied?
Look, I'm sorry.
You're sorry? The pie too?
I'll give you a break.
You know, at least 20 times today, I reached over to turn it on. I felt like a robot.
You're a junkie.
What?
For information, technology, conversations with little voices coming out of your dashboard.
I am not a junkie.
I am. I am. I can't live without input. And you know, there is just so much to absorb that I have something to look forward to every day for the rest of my life. bed every morning? Bam! And I leap over the kitchen for a small continental breakfast. Newspaper stacked neatly on the right, TV on the left, and in the...
All right, that's enough.
What?
I just don't want to, I'm tired of hearing about your 3 TVs and your 4 newspapers and your 22 magazine subscriptions.
23.
Whatever. I mean, I just don't want to hear about how much information you can absorb in one day.
Look, I was trying to make you feel better. Face it, if you're cut off and you can't handle it, then it's not easy. Believe me, I know. If I find myself without a TV or something to read, I start to get this feeling. Thank God it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, well, I'm not like you.
Oh, no. What did you do to keep your mind occupied while driving to work today?
I just drove.
Nobody just drives. That's at least 4th on the list of things to do while driving. Comes after eating, listening to the news, and going into trances. Must have done something to keep your mind occupied.
That guy's getting a little close to my car.
Don't worry about it. So what did you do? Nothing.
It's silly.
Tickets.
I sang billboards and license plates.
What?
You know, RAD 103, don't do it, call the suicide hotline. RAD.
See, you're...
Hey, you! Get the hell off of my car! Yes, you! You see that? What? Did you hear what he said? I'm gonna kick that little shit's ass.
This is a big shit.
I'm gonna rip his eyes out.
You stop.
I'm gonna kill him.
Stop.
I'm gonna kill him.
Now calm down. He's gone.
You slapped me.
Now, come on, sit.
You slapped me.
Well, I didn't want to see you die. It's just me.
All day long, I've been plotting ways to booby-trap my next radio. Lethal gas, razor blades.
You'd probably end up cutting off your own fingers. I like your fingers. They're symmetrical.
Yeah, well, I can still fantasize.
Sure.
I need some more coffee. Do you think I have any more pie left?
Well, I'm sure if you went up and asked them, they could whip you up a piece. This is America.
You want another piece?
No, I'm all set.
Watch my car.
There's nothing to steal.
Come on, just watch my car.
Oh, that's right. You probably have a walkie-talkie stashed under the seat.
Please.
Sure.
Thanks. You really have another friend?
Don't worry about it.
Thank you very much. That was fabulous. And lastly, we're going to close the show with AS220 regulars, Frodus.
Yeah, Frodus! Shit!
Yeah, so let's give them a round of applause. Let's do that. In fact, really applause for all the acts that we've seen so far, and I will say. Princess says applause.
John's cereal gimmick part 2. Bee swarm. Frodus dance number 2.
Well, that's the end of the cabaret, but then we can still drink until 1 o'clock, so we don't want to discourage anyone. But this is the cabaret out the door. I don't know. I want to thank Your Serene Highness Princess Pearl of Providence right here. And next month we will have an all-woman band that's going to accompany the performers throughout the rest of the evening. We're really trying to build this cabaret back. And so come back up and help us do that. Thank you. Keep drinking, though.
Direct from Day Square, East Boston, the supreme being, the Almighty God.
How you doing? How you doing? I want to get a few things straight before we get started here. First of all, there is no hell. There is a devil. I'm sorry about that. It got way out of hand. Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm going from place to place, storing most of your artsy-fartsy places, universities, shit like that, because half of you don't believe in me. And I'm taking questions from the audience. You may not get another chance. You know, the next thing you know, you're gone. And so why don't you ask me? Any questions you have for the Supreme Being?
Why are you dressed like that?
Oh, because Marie Osmond was over there doing the Sound of Music. I was like imbuing her with the feeling. Just speak up.
If the body is risen after it's died, will I come back with a whole old shit, or will I be young? And
No. What were you raised, kid?
obviously Catholic.
Okay, you're full of shit. All right, first of all, what happens is, you know how, all right, in Christianity they talk about a resurrection, Hinduism they talk about a cycle of life and you come back and all that kind of thing, but actually what happens is you are immortal. I mean, you gotta understand, you are immortal, but you're very simple beings, all right? You're born, you grow up, you eat, you drink, you fuck, you die. When you die, you come back like you turn to like nothing. You turn to sand, and the worms eat you, and then they shit, and a flower grows, and that way you're immortal. You understand? All right, go on. You got another question?
Catholic school, they teach us there is hell.
See, you don't understand. See, you think you're so fucking important. I shouldn't have made you able to think, because see, that's what...
But you did.
I made you, I know, it was a little bit of a screw up. I should have made you like dogs and Mars and things. It would have been a lot simpler. Okay. But I gave you the ability to think, but I don't give any one of you all of it. You see, I give the Catholics a little bit. I give the Jews a little bit. I give the Muslims a little bit. I give, I give the Papua New Guinea, got the piece of bamboo stuck through their nose, waiting for the cargo plane called thin shit to come back. I gave them a little bit. Everybody's got a little bit. You see, but if you get all of it, you couldn't handle it, you go insane. So you can't believe everything that they tell you because they told you in Catholic school, or because they told you in shul, or because they told you, the imam told you. You can't believe all that shit because these are just men. Like you, men and women. The nuns are just women, that's all. They're human beings. They do the best they can. Some of them do, some of them don't. I got a problem with the Catholic Church right now because they got a little thing they're doing, but, you know, we may have to get rid of them entirely for that. But, no, but you see, you make too much out of yourself. You gotta understand, I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. I want you to do what's right. I don't mean what's right because the priest told you it's right, but what makes you feel right inside. You understand? All right.
God.
Go ahead.
I got this laundry. I got this performer who wants a red light, and I don't have any red lights. What should I do?
Give a white one. Go ahead.
If you're all powerful and you can do anything, you make a rock that even yourself cannot lift.
Oh, you went to school, didn't you? No. Go ahead. Yeah.
Were you happy with George Burns' portrayal of you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because he's a moralizing bastard. Go ahead.
So was I.
No, I'm not.
Hey, you took advantage of Mary.
I didn't take advantage of her. She wanted her as much as I did. See, this is back to the advantage. What are you? What are you, Irish or something? You guys don't have sexual law. Idiot. Go ahead.
God, why? Why did you put us here? What are we supposed to do with our lives?
You're supposed to enjoy your life. You're not supposed to worry about all this shit. It's like you're gonna die, right? You're gonna die. You and all the other my creations are gonna die. Even my sons die. You know what I mean? You're all my children, but I never...
Sons, plural?
Sons, plural, yeah. There was Moses, there was Jesus, there's Muhammad, there's Mark, and there's gonna be more.
Matthew, Luke, and John.
No, not Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
They got it.
You're cut off.
If you make everyone in your image, that being Don will be the holier person?
Of course he is. They're my chosen people.
You're right on this no hell thing, right?
On this what?
No hell, is that true?
Yeah, there's no help.
Fuck you.
See what I got waiting for you, you fucking bastard. It's in life, not in death. Go ahead. Go ahead, we got more questions?
What's your dresser?
My dresser?
Your dresser.
I dress myself.
You dress as a God helped you.
Don,
Yes.
how long is Sinatra been playing at Boxwood?
I can't tell you that because that's one of the great mysteries. Just buy the $500 ticket and, maybe you'll catch some dive. Go ahead.
What's wrong with it?
The world's never gonna end. You people might end. The world's never gonna end.
God, sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch. Was ist das?
Sauerfahrer, wie Frage.
Ja, gib mir die Frage.
Wann ich geboren war ich in meiner Mutter oder war ich...
Ich habe nicht deine Mutter. Ich bin meine Mutter.
Is there life on other planets?
Of course there is.
Are you the god of that stuff too?
I'm the god of everything. I mean fucking everything. Go ahead.
Hey, Mama. 希望特别浪漫的家。
tremendous intellect for you. You can do almost anything. But the one thing you can't do is you can't get yourself out of your own shit. For example, you create the atomic bomb, right? Now you don't know what to do with it. You got all this shit floating around. You can kill yourselves 8 million times over, but you don't know what to do with it. So I thought I'd have a simple time. I create a beautiful planet for you. A beautiful planet. You got everything. You got rain, you got mountains, you got oceans, you got sheep, you have all these things that are beautiful. And you fuck it up. You fuck it up royally. And that's because I gave you free thought. And it disturbs me because, you know, there's all these things that you can do with it. You don't do anything with it. You come up with infonet and ways to make yourselves work harder and you hurt each other and you do all these awful things to each other. And it's like, I may just fucking wipe this all out and start over again. I don't know. But, yeah.
What do you think about karma?
I discussed karma already. You're shut off. I told you. Go ahead.
Who created you?
No one created me. The German guy asked me that. I created myself. Oh, you want that? I can't see, you know, I'm old. I created everything else. I was sitting in the void one day, and the void is a very boring place. There's nothing to do. There's no good food. There's no butts. You can't get laid in the void. And, you know, I was sitting around, and I had been there since time immemorial, and I started doing little shit. I started with rocks, and then I moved up to, you know, one-celled animals, and some of those were a little bit strange. And then I kept going, you know, I got my hand in it, way out. There's a few things I'm creating, but pretty much I'm relaxed now. Go ahead.
What happened to the dinosaurs?
Oh, they were like you guys. I wiped them the fuck out.
Are Pan and the Saint brothers, or are they the same person?
There's only one Satan, and he goes by many names. And he's probably sitting among us right now. He's a fucking bastard, but I can't get rid of him. Fuck you! Alright. He's gonna be fucking you tonight. Alright, go ahead. Anybody else? Any more questions for this?
Oh, take luck.
Yeah, I'll catch you later. Alright, how much do you need?
10 is good for now.
10 is good.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What is the word of God?
The Word of God? Another question. The Word of God. Everything is the Word of God. You look around, all the things that I created is the Word of God. All the shit that you created is bullshit. Well, go ahead. Any more questions?
What is the sin against the Holy Ghost?
That's another bullshit. There is no sin against us. There are sins that you can commit against me. But I'll tell you about those later. Go ahead. Any other questions?
How tall are you?
I'm as tall as I fucking want to be, and I told you already. You all shut the fuck up! I'm gonna turn you into a slug, and then we'll find out about your common question, how long it's gonna take you to get fucking back to this space. some mojados that wash their cars, clean their toilets, God forbid, take care of their children, won't be able to have anything. No medical attention, no school, no citizenship, nothing. That ain't good, you know. My Scotch was in Spray Land of Arts. Now, I know I done wrong. You know. I was involved with that shit that happened out in Pomona, you know. I know I had something to do with that, and that kid got killed, you know. Shit has to be done sometimes. I know a lot of things I've done wrong. I tell you what, though, you know, I've been trying my best. I go to mass 50 times a year, but, you know, keep you happy. I went a couple of days ago to Dia de los Muertos. I made tamales and everything with my aina. We took them out there and some tequila and candles, put them on the grave sites, you know, veteranos. Try to honor that shit. I tell people, you know, don't fuck around. Don't fuck around. Don't fuck around with like brujeria, witchcraft, all that shit. I tell them stay away from the devil. You know, that shit will get you. Things are still hard down here also, you know. My grandmother used to always take me to church and used to tell me about the Lord, and tell me to read some book, you know. And I read the good book. But I ain't finding it in what I need, you know. People need more than that. You know. Shabbat, I ain't trying to disrespect you or nothing, you know. But tell you what though, a lot of things I'm thankful for in this world. Thankful for the smokes, you know. Thankful for good drink. Takes the pain away a little bit, you know. Thank you for Yeska. Takes the pain away a little bit more. Thank you for my homies. Down for them with Mr. Fuck-ups. Para que hubiera Loma y que no más. Most of all, I thank you for my family. I want to thank you for my wife. Thank you for my little girl. Thank you for all that shit. I love you. I know you don't love pain. Excuse me, I hadn't crushed myself before. Well, that's how things are going down right here in the backyard. You know, I always catch up with you when I can. Anyways, I love you very much. And, you know, try to do something about that shit. There's a lot of fucked up shit going down. You know, you got other things you worry about. But try and catch up on that shit. En el nombre de nuestro Señor.